Did you know that after decades of disrupting the natural water cycle through agriculture, California's historic Tulare Lake transformed from a vast inland sea to a mere shadow of its former self? But there's an enigmatic resurgence that has recently brought the long-dormant lake back to life, rapidly refilling its basin and inundating lands that have been parched for nearly a century. And there's something unexpected and alarming emerging from the depths. Join us as we delve into the fascinating investigation of Lake Tulare's rapid refilling and the potentially terrifying implications it brings. Before we start, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and like this video, as it's the best way to support this channel. Recent heavy rainfall in California brought both relief and new challenges. While the rain was expected to increase water levels, nobody saw the upcoming problems. The rain did have some benefits, like rejuvenating dry land and filling up parched reservoirs. However, it also brought an unexpected problem. Some reservoirs, including Tulare Lake in the San Joaquin Valley, which was once the second largest freshwater lake in the United States, reached their capacity for the first time in a long while. This put them at risk of causing significant damage. In a surprising turn of events, Tulare Lake seemed to reappear mysteriously due to the recent flooding. While its reappearance was initially fascinating, it quickly turned into a concern as the lake expanded beyond its limits, endangering lives and property. The return of Tulare Lake after years of drought might seem like a good thing, but experts now describe this process as an unfolding natural disaster. To understand the situation better, we need to look at the historical context of Tulare Lake. In the past, the lake's basin supported a complex system of wetland habitats that played a crucial role in the region. Even though the area was typically dry, it served as a floodplain, receiving water from various sources, including the Sierra Nevada mountains to the west and the transverse ranges to the north. The basin, home to a shallow water system, once supported unique fish and bird species adapted to the lake environment. However, in the mid-1800s, European settlers changed the landscape by building canals and diversion structures for agriculture. As a result, Tulare Lake lost its connection to these water sources, leading to its gradual reduction in size. By 1899, less than 50 years after irrigation began, Tulare Lake dried up for the first time in recorded history. Settlers transformed the former lake bed into farmland over time, marked by the construction of levees and reclamation districts. While the lake's role shifted, it remained historically significant as a landlocked body of water with no natural outlet to the sea. Its water instead replenished groundwater reserves. The lake gives back moisture to the southern Sierra Nevada, and there's evidence to suggest that it used to be part of a much larger ancient lake that covered a big part of California's Central Valley. But over time, things like earthquakes and erosion changed the California landscape, causing the lake to go through periods of drying up and refilling. During the wet seasons, it would briefly appear, and that's how it got the name Ghost Lake. However, in the middle of the year, California experienced a series of atmospheric rivers that brought a lot of rain during the winter and early spring. This rapid reappearance of Tulare Lake came with a cost. It put people's lives and their ways of making a living in danger. For example, the largest city near the lake, Corcoran, with a population of 22,000, was hit hard with flooding that disrupted travel. Researchers were worried about what this meant for smaller cities nearby, especially after seeing what happened to Corcoran. Smaller communities like Allensworth and Alpa faced evacuation orders as they were on the verge of being submerged by overflowing rivers. The floods also forced dairies in the area to move their cattle to safer places. The resurgence of Tulare Lake is expected to continue for months, if not years. Its vast waters now cover a big part of California's Central Valley, creating an impressive sight. It's been over 3 months since the lake reappeared, and its transformation has been truly remarkable. What started as a small stream quickly turned into a significant flood, covering an area that initially was 30 square miles and then expanded to 50 square miles and more. As summer progressed, Tulare Lake grew to around 168 square miles and is surrounded by thousands of acres of clay soil. It doesn't have a natural outlet, so the best way to keep an eye on it is through satellite technology. The ongoing changes suggest that there could be more flooding as the Sierra Nevada snowpack melts in the coming months. A recent snow survey by the California Department of Water Resources revealed significant flood risks from this year's extensive and widespread snowpack, especially in the San Joaquin Valley. This shows that the remarkable snowpack in the Sierra Nevada mountains is causing these flooding events. To illustrate this, the snow levels have been extremely high in recent months due to powerful storms. They reached an astonishing 257% above the seasonal average and 247% larger than the usual peak on April 1st. While the melting snowpack has its challenges, California is more concerned about the aftermath. In response to the rapid expansion of Tulare Lake, water engineers have used various strategies to manage and redirect the lake's waters. But models suggest that the lake's growth might have peaked. However, the lake remains a significant feature in California's agricultural landscape. It holds about 2.5 million acre-feet of frozen snowwater, which will gradually melt and contribute to the lake's size. The lake's dimensions will depend on how quickly the snow melts and the capacity to divert the water elsewhere. Water from various sources is carefully managed before reaching the lake. However, ongoing flooding is still a big problem for the region's agricultural sectors. To address this, they temporarily divert floodwaters across agricultural land to replenish critical groundwater resources, which are essential for drought resilience. Reservoirs play a crucial role in capturing excess water, some of which is used for irrigation. Other approaches include directing water to soak into the soil, replenishing depleted groundwater, and allowing some water to evaporate naturally. A significant amount of water from the Kern River is diverted through a canal to the California Aqueduct, which boosts water supplies for Los Angeles and surrounding cities. These solutions are not permanent, but provide some relief. Local communities are preparing for potential floods in the upcoming summer and taking measures to strengthen their defenses. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection's Incident Command Team is using the dry weather to undertake crucial actions, like raising important roads. Emergency responders are bolstering levees and deploying portable barriers to manage water flows. A collaborative effort between farmers and emergency workers is focused on reinforcing levees to mitigate the impact of ongoing atmospheric river storms, which continue to saturate the soil and swell the rivers. Despite these efforts, some experts consider the ongoing flooding a slow natural disaster, and existing infrastructure may not be sufficient to handle the situation. Nevertheless, California officials are committed to combating the floods. Traditional flood management methods like sandbags offer only limited relief. Recognizing that the water volume in the Sierra exceeds the capacity of existing facilities, authorities acknowledge the difficulties in managing this situation. The limited options for removing water from the historic lake bed complicate matters, potentially requiring a heavy reliance on evaporation, canal diversion, and pumping. The high costs of these mitigation efforts add to the challenges, particularly for affected residents, many of whom are from low-income communities. This highlights the severity of the situation for farm workers and rural communities scattered throughout the Tulare Basin, where flooding threatens their livelihoods and well-being. While the current flood may seem minor compared to the potential consequences of substantial snowfall, the implications are concerning. The best hope lies in a cool and manageable summer that allows for a gradual and controlled snowmelt process. Recognizing the need for collective action, residents have expressed concerns about the months ahead. While uncertainty surrounds the extent and timing of potential floods, preparedness remains crucial. Experts predict that the crisis in California's Tulare Basin will persist for months, highlighting the state's unpredictable weather patterns, shifting between excessive rainfall and prolonged dry spells. While some issues remain unresolved, authorities assert that Tulare Lake's resurgence heralds a prolonged event that will significantly shape the region's landscape for the foreseeable future. As the initial chaos surrounding its re-emergence subsides, the lake is reclaiming its role as a colossal prehistoric body of water, a living testament to the dynamic forces of nature. Share your thoughts on Tulare Lake in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and see you soon.